Esther Landmark Edition. Yeah, just doing something a little bit different today, guys. A bit of a stressful couple of days, even though I'm on holiday, so I thought I'd just do a relaxing game for a change. Now, this type of game does spark a bit of controversy. A lot of people hate this type of game, and then there's people like me who love this type of game. It's got some beautiful scenery, and it's not very action-packed. It's just what people call a walking simulator. Beautiful scenery, but I love it, and I need to relax. What better game to relax to than this? I'm gonna obviously try to play it all the way through to the end. Obviously, I'll probably try not to talk that much, so you can just kind of watch it and relax yourselves. But I will talk at some points. So let's just get going, shall we? We'll start from the beginning. I'm not sure how long this game is from start to finish, but it's not that long.
Dear Esther, I sometimes feel as if I've given birth to this island. Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, a split opened up, and it beached remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity, an alpha point in my life that refuses all hypothesis. I return each time, leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interim.
Now, ideally, I play this game with the curtains drawn because there's a bit of light reflecting off the screen, but my cats will climb the curtains if they're down, so I can't do that. The music is just amazing in this game. Everything, I think, is just haunting, melancholy. We're going to fully explore this game. You can only zoom in, that is all you can do. So paint marks. Oh, did you see that? I think there was a little figure up there. Shadowy. I'll try not to give anything away if you've not seen this game before. I'm sure you have by now, it's quite an old game. But yeah. Can't get up there anymore. Bit of in a state, isn't it? Disrepair. I bought this in a sale. It was like £4 or something like that, or even less than that. I think definitely worth to pick up when you see when it's that cheap. Actually, I think I might have to come back on myself a bit here, but we'll see. Some old fishing cages.
Those islands in the distance, I am sure, are nothing more than relics of another time, sleeping giants, somnambulist gods laid down for a final dreaming. I wash the sand from my lips and grip my wrist ever more tightly. My shaking arms will not support my fading diaries. Dear Esther, I found myself to be as featureless as this ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves, my forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so. All overexposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under. Come back.
So that's what happens when you try to kill yourself or anything like that. Alright, so we're going to go right back to the beginning of the beach. Might have to come back down to the beach. I think the way's blocked, but we'll see. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you have to come back up down to the beach and get up this way, but like I said. Now, this is as fast as you can go. All you can do is zoom in and obviously move your camera angle. You probably gather what kind of game it is from the first 5 minutes or so. Right, go up this way. Yeah. Oh, no you can. It's not blocked after all.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
Right. So is this the cave they're talking about? I presume so. Pretty sure something's supposed to happen here. Must have missed it, maybe. Pretty sure you're supposed to see a flashlight go off, like blink a couple of times from that cave across the way. Maybe I was supposed to walk down the cave while that person was talking. Oh, no. It's quite a bit of a creepy atmosphere. That's... Ah, you do... Okay. Well, you don't have to go all the way back, that's fine then. But you do have to go down to the beach. Alright, we'll go up this way. So obviously the island has been lived on at one point in time, but there's no one here at the moment by the looks of things. Right, we'll carry on then. The sound of the wind is very good in this game. Does really
Reading
make
Donnelly by the weak afternoon sunlight, he landed on the south side of the island, followed the path to the bay and climbed the mount. He did not find the caves, and he did not chart the north side. I think this is why his understanding of the island is flawed, incomplete. He stood on the mount and only wondered momentarily how to descend. But then, he didn't have my reasons.
Like I said, the wind is really good in this game. Actually makes me generally feel a bit chilly.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this: to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Typical English weather as well. It's quite stormy. It's not super sunny, but it's not absolutely bucking it down either.
They were God-fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradictions?
So it's abandoned by the original people quite a long time ago then.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
can hear like a little heartbeat. It's gone again now.
I threw my arms wide and the cliff opened out before me, making this rough home. I transferred my belongings from the bothy on the mount and tried to live here instead. It was cold at night and the sea lapped at the entrance at high tide. To climb the peak, I must first venture even deeper into the veins of the island, where the signals are blocked altogether. Only then will I understand them, when I stand on the summit and they flow into me, uncorrupted.
These paintings he's done then? Get a real sense of like this island is like in the middle of nowhere. No one comes to see it. No one visits it. It's become like completely abandoned by time. It's quite sad, really. Music's very sad and melancholy as well, isn't it?
I dreamt I stood in the center of the sun and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside. My teeth will curl and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
Bunch of standing stones. Another thing you can see around the UK, a lot of old standing stones. Yeah, just such a beautiful game, this. My dad's quite fascinated by standing stones, so I saw quite a few of them when I was younger. Not too familiar about the religious connotations of standing stones, though. Paganism, I suppose, maybe? Is it? Forgot there was a loading screen.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times.
That's
But
near
although
me.
I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
I think another reason why I love this game, brings back memories. I know this is set in the Highlands, up in Scotland somewhere, not Scottish island. Does remind me a lot of Cornwall, and used to go there as a kid with my parents on holiday all the time. Quite an RT game, this.
An imagined answer phone message. The tyres are flat, the wheel spins loosely, and the brake fluid has run like ink over this map, staining the landmarks and rendering the coastline mute, compromised. Where you saw galaxies, I saw only bruises cut into the cliff by my lack of sobriety.
Couple of more shipwrecks there. We're quite up to see shipwrecks and old fishing boats in Cornwall and stuff like that. So that's another kind of like reminder of my holidays as a kid. And the kind of like foliage and just the cliffs and stuff like that is very reminiscent of Cornwall. There's something about Cornwall just made just a bit of, feels a bit like sort of separated from the rest of the country almost. It's quite isolated, almost feels isolated, and almost like you're going back in time as well a bit. This would be the third time I've played this game, I believe. I played it once and then played through the director's cut, which has got a commentary over the top. Tempted to play that again as well.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
What does that say? Eat something, drink. Did he eat her? I don't know.
I had kidney stones, and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk. What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this hole?
Pretty amazing that. You can jump off of that. You get a trophy for that actually, jumping off there. But I think similar things happens to when you go into the sea. Kind of fades into black.
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under. I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there.
Medical equipment, syringes, hints of what this is all about, maybe.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
So, people lived on the island, then abandoned it, and then someone else tried to inhabit it, and then died. So, is that a person there? Ooh. Go up here first, shall we? Fire. Someone was in here. Oh, no painting. Has some meaning, or just gibberish, maybe? Reminds me a lot of, because there's a lot of art galleries in Cornwall and places like that, and there's a lot of awesome like paintings and stuff of things like this types of buildings and things. Oh, I think we're gonna go down there. Oops.
Come back.
Oh. We glitched the game there a little bit, I think. Oh, that's a bit annoying. Shouldn't have done that, guys. Is that someone there with a torch? Hopefully, because I'm pretty sure if you go into the building, it starts another bit of dialogue. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to start again from the last kind of like save point. Because... Ooh.
My heart is landfill. These false dawns waking into the still never light. I sweat for you in the small hours and wrap my blankets into a mass. I have always heard the waves break on these lost shores, always the gulls forgotten. I can lift this bottle to my ear, and all there ever is for me is this Hebridean music.
Oh, baby picture, right? Some monogram or whatever it's called. Let's read what that says on that book there. The Aberdeen history. Someone's been sleeping here fairly recently because of a sleeping bag. Oh, I forgot about that. Figure's gone now, but it's supposed to appear there when you come out of here. So 40 minutes into the game. I'm pretty sure I'm about halfway through now, guys, so goes to show this is going to be pretty short.
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
Very kind of like poetic, all the talking in this game. I think this type of game would really appeal to people who don't actually play games.
In early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot, but he is proving an unreliable witness.
More tragedy hitting the island by the sounds of it. Yeah, like I said, I think it would really appeal to some people who are not really gamers, this type of game. So one of the games where I showed my dad and he was like, oh wow, I think I could really enjoy this type of game. An old boat. I can see some islands over there. Bit of rubbish. Looks like a washing up liquid bottle or something.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Oh dear. I'm not very well then. Thrown down here, I guess. Doesn't look like it's, yeah, evidence of it being thrown down rather than it being washed up. I love these type of games. This, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Yeah, some of my top games, to be honest. Pardon me. Yeah, that noise was a bit scary when that guy was talking. To be honest, I really hope they redid it with improved graphics, completely new graphics for like the next gen. But I highly doubt that would happen. But it'd be pretty awesome. Someone's been here before. Oh, straight into the caves.
Donnelly did not pass through the caves. From here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
So we've slipped down here, but there's a candle down here as well. Stalactites and stalagmites. Wouldn't want to be stuck down here though.
They'd stop the traffic back as far as the Sandford Junction and come up the hard shoulder like radio signals from another star. It took 21 minutes for them to arrive. I watched Paul time it to the second on his watch.
like inside of a computer or something. And really, it's really good at direction. I mean, when coming up from here, I didn't even think about looking up there. I just presumed I had to go in that way. And then when you come round, you're like, oh right, this is the way. Different colours, green to blue. Guessing I have to just jump into the water. I think it would be pretty hard to try to climb up here, to be honest. I think you'll be pretty much stuck. That's where we were. Again, looks like it would be very, very difficult to walk around here. Slippery. Pretty amazing though. Just visually it looks pretty stunning. Oh man, stretch out. Gone Home is another one like this. It's very good. Me and my partner played it from my channel all the way through in 2 or 3 parts, I believe.
I am traveling through my own body, following the line of infection from the shattered femur towards the heart. I swallow fistfuls of painkillers to stay lucid. In my delirium, I see the twin lights of the moon and the Ariel shining to me through the rocks.
So it's getting worse. I think originally this was, when I'm watching the director's cut of this game, that paper boats. Oh, there's another one. This was originally a mod for a game. It was popular enough that they were given some money to turn it into a full game. I say a full game. Well, yeah, it is a full game, isn't it? But it's not quite the type of game you used to think of as a full game. Yeah, I mean it's... Oh, footprints? Yeah? No, just rocks. Look like footprints. It's an amazing time to be a gamer when you've got such a varied amount of games you can actually play. For all types of gamers. Got this type of game for those who want a good like story and characterization, stuff like that. We've got RPGs that also do that as well. We've got shooters for those that just want to go around shooting stuff. We've got mobile games for people who haven't got time to sit down and play games. RT games like this. Yeah, it's just a pretty amazing time. Quite a few paper boats there. Now I'm exploring as much as I can here. I mean, I don't have to do... I could probably cut down this playthrough quite a bit if I just stuck to the bits I knew that was story parts. We'll see. Well, we're coming up to an hour now. Look like an alien language or something like this, or breakdown of atoms and chemicals and things like that. Maybe scientific equations or something. Whoop. looks like stars, doesn't it?
I will hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
Oh. Alright, just got out of there. A little bit difficult. Lovely little pool of water there. More candles. More... oh, what's this say? Not sure really. Damascus is creepy talking, lots of paint. Almost keeps you guessing whether there's a big scare coming or something like that. It's kind of creepy. The atmosphere almost makes like the island is its own personality. It's almost alive itself. Whoa. Just missed a bit there, I think. Went in the wrong direction. Which is a bit annoying, that. Just think you see the car crash that he was talking about. I might go back and play that bit again if I get a chance. We'll stick through this bit now. And when we finish, we'll go back again. Yeah, because we're just at the end. Oh, a tent. Finally out of the caves. It's night time now.
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
Glitch there. Yeah, pretty close to the end now. Those are the white lines he was talking about. I'm sorry about the bit where I missed the car crash flashback there, guys. I'm a bit irritated by that, to be honest. I think I did that last time as well. Oh. Someone there. That figure again.
Dear Esther, I find each step harder and heavier. I drag Donnelly's corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
Drink driving then. Oh. Pictures of the accident. Oh, that's a defibrillator. That's not good. So I have high. I guess it's insinuating there that I was drink driving. Oh, the sound is really good. Keep looking around to see what's making all that noise. Where's wind coming from?
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yoghurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity.
A light from heaven shone from... so maybe that's where the pictures come from, the diagrams on the walls and stuff. It's from that mug. Shone around him, her. Seems to be getting further away again.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Oh, that's sad. We saw some of those paper boats early on, didn't we? Some eggs. On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. Yeah, whoops. Come back.
Come back.
Just going back this way a sec, make sure we didn't miss anything. I hate missing things, especially in this type of game. So some candles here. Right, no, guess not. Oh man, I can't believe we're halfway through the week already. Not much of a week off so far.
A sound of torn metal, teeth running over the edge of the rocks, a moon that casts a signal as I lay pinned beside you, the ticking of the cooling engine, and the calling from a great height, all my mind as a bypass.
Getting closer to the light beacon again. Still there. Still there, still. More scary noises. Awesome.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fibre, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
I'm guessing this is where we come from. Seems so far away, but it didn't take us very long to get here. And it was... and then he was proceeding on his proceeding on his journey. And has come near to Damascus. It's like got a massive light around it. And he...
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
And neither did he eat nor drink.
Returning to my car afterwards, hands still shaking, and a head split open by the impact. Goodbye to tearful aunts and traumatized uncles. Goodbye to the phenomenal. Goodbye to the tangible. Goodbye Wolverhampton. Goodbye Sanford. Goodbye Cromer. Goodbye Damascus. This cliff path is slippery in the dew. It is hard to climb with such an infection. I must carve out the bad flesh and sling it from the aerial. I must become infused with the very air.
Old Second World War or First World War memorial bunker area. was first playing this game, I thought, God, whose job was it to put up all these fences and stuff and railings? Pretty sketchy job. So if you didn't mess around quite as much as I did, just got on with it, you probably could finish this in an hour and a half. Ooh, don't want to fall off the edge. See.
A gull perched on a spent bonnet, sideways, whilst the sirens fell through the middle distance and the metal moaned in grief about us. I'm about this night in walking, old bread and gull bones, old Donnelly at the bar gripping his drink, old Esther walking with our children, old Paul as ever, old Paul. He shakes and he shivers and he turns off his lights alone.
Candle. Okay, sorry. I was like, what on earth's that? I don't remember passing that. Getting very windy up near the top. Guessing that's the ghost of our deceased partner.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks.
Dear Esther, I have burned the cliffs of Damascus. I have drunk deep of it. My heart is my leg, and a black line etched on the paper all along this boat without a bottom. You are all the world like a nest to me. Eggs unbroken form like fossils, come together, send small black flowers to the air. From this infection, hope. From this island, flight. From this grief, love.
quite emotional game. Brilliant game. What did I think of? Well, what does anybody think of the ending there? I'm guessing he was a bit drunk and got in a car accident, and his wife with baby passed away, and he came to this island to live on his own because he couldn't get over the grief, and then he decided to commit suicide, I guess. And the ending might show him being released from his depression and sadness, I suppose. Almost like being reborn, a release. I guess you can interpret it a couple of other ways, I suppose. Such as maybe he already committed suicide before you start the game, and the game is like a purgatory, and he has to overcome his ties to the real world before he can move on to heaven or whatever, or reincarnation, whatever you believe. Yeah, just let the credits roll because they deserve it. I mean, I completed an hour and a half anyway. I mean, like I said, I was messing around a bit, exploring everything I could. So really, you could probably finish it in an hour and 15 minutes, I think, if you just wanted to do that. I mean, it's not the type of game you should be doing that kind of thing. Now, obviously, people complain that you can't run in this game, but that's not the point of this game. It's supposed to be taking your time and exploring everything. Yeah, excellent game. I'm gonna replay the cave bit because I want to do that flashback scene properly, and then we'll finish. So yeah, sorry about this. I know I should have done it originally, but we'll see. We'll see.
Donnelly did not pass through the caves. From here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
And before he moved to the island or whatever, he went to talk to the person that was involved in the accident. And they obviously had a lot of guilt and stuff. But obviously, he's feeling very guilty, this guy, because he was drinking at the time, which obviously impaired and probably helped cause the accident. I mean, yeah, how do you get over something like that? I don't think you can you really? Yeah, just playing this game, it just feels like, I don't know, very therapeutic and relaxing, and I always kind of really want to replay it, to be honest. I've always had this desire to replay this game quite often. No, this isn't the type of game you would consider that being a big thing. Replay value, very little replay value. But I think there is, personally.
Traversing my own death throes. The infection in my leg is an oil rig that dredges black muck up from deep inside my bones. I swallow fistfuls of diazepam and paracetamol to stay conscious. The pain flows through me like an underground sea.
Now, this kind of talk makes me think the first theory is more correct, obviously, rather than him already being dead once he's on this island, but I don't know.
This cannot be the shaft they threw the goats into. It cannot be the landfill where the parts of your life that would not burn ended up. It cannot be the chimney that delivered you to the skies. It cannot be the place where you rained back down again to fertilize the soil and make small flowers in the rocks.
Right, here we go. I think this is it now, guys. Oh, so we didn't miss much after all, guys. I think that was it. Just an operating table. Right. There we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Halfway through my week off, but I think I won't be doing too many more streams because I just want to relax. So I'll probably be doing 2 more. I'll do one Battlefield because I've been playing that a little bit, and one more World of Tanks because I just play that a lot. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Hope you enjoyed.